Hey, welcome to Learning from Men podcast, where I'm on a mission to learn from men so I can better serve men. Our vision for Men of Jesus is better men, better families, better communities. Today, I am with Camry Coleman. Camry, how
Hey,
you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, cousin. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to hang out with me for a little bit.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, just go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself, family, where you're at, just those things.
Yeah, so my name's Camry Coleman. I live in Spring Hill, Tennessee, which is, if you're familiar with like Nashville, south of Nashville is Franklin, and south of Franklin is Spring Hill. So we're probably like 45 minutes south of Nashville. I am married to my wonderful wife, Sylvie Coleman. We got married 5 years ago. We're celebrating 5 years this year. So, yeah, five already. I know, right? And we
Crazy.
have had two children since then. My daughter, Alora, we call her AJ. She's 3, and my son Zion he's 20 months. I don't know when you stop saying the months, but he's 20 months. So he's almost 2. And then we've actually got a third on the way that will be here in December.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah,
5 years.
5 years. Yep. 2.3 babies right now. She's still growing, or he or she. Actually, we don't know what he or she is, but uh, I just hope they're a chill baby. That's really what AJ was, such a chill baby. She was like sleeping through the night within 2 months. It was glorious. Zion, he sleeps through the night now, but it took forever. I feel like for him to get good at sleeping, and he only likes his mom really. So I call him our gremlin baby. He's a little gremlin, but I love him. And he's got red hair like his mom, so he's already got a temper. So uh, yeah. But yeah, I work here in Nashville. I have a few odd jobs. My full time job is I work at the Bridge Ministry, which is a ministry that is serving the unhoused and the under resourced in the kind of the Metro Nashville area. And so my job is I'm the Bridge to Kids director. So that's our kids program. And what the kids program does is it kind of fills the void where students, a lot of them are getting breakfast and lunch at school, and that's like for a lot of them, they're really only their only food security. So that they know they'll get breakfast and lunch. They're hopefully going to get something to eat for dinner, but they're not 100% sure if that's always going to happen. And so what we do is we make food bags that are given to them to eat over the weekend, because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is kind of iffy as well. And so the food bags kind of help curb their hunger a little bit over the weekend so they can come back to Monday not like totally starving and able to focus and get an education. So while the school year was going, we're in summer break right now, but while the school year was going, we were serving about 4,000 students a week, which is a
Wow.
ton here in Nashville.
Wow.
Yeah.
4,000 students a week?
Yes.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
So it's like all the logistics for that. It's the volunteers that come in and bring like roll up the food bags. It's all the food that we're getting in from like Sam's or something like that, from the donations that we get. So yeah, it's a lot of logistics that go into that. All the deliveries. I'm driving a box truck. We have a couple of volunteers who drive box trucks and vans, and or they'll throw it in their car and go take it to schools and things like that. So it's pretty labor intensive, but it's been really sweet to get to do that over the last few months.
So you're driving it to the school and dropping it off with who?
Yeah, so so like for Metro Nashville Public Schools, they have a division of the public schools called Community Achieves, and so a lot of the Community Achieves like site managers at each school, I'll meet with them if I'm the one delivering. A lot of them are the ones who got the bridge to like know about their school in the first place and bring the food bags. One thing that's kind of crazy is one of the schools I'm delivering to was actually my elementary school when I was in kindergarten through third grade. I
Wow.
went to Mount View Elementary in Antioch, Tennessee. So my first day, like kind of learning the deliveries, I was like, is this Mount View in Antioch? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, that's my school. So yeah, that's crazy to get to go back there. I hadn't been back there in like probably 25 years, but I get to go bring them food bags every week.
Is there still any teachers there that
You
from
know,
when
I
you were
have
there?
I haven't really like walked around to try to like, figure that out
I
yet.
got
I'm
you.
I'm pretty
I
I'm
got
pretty
you.
quick in and out. I'm like, here's your crates, and then I'm a jet,
Yeah.
you know. So
I
I don't
gotta
know.
know to
So
stop.
right, I got 6 more schools to get to. I'm not trying to just lurk around. I have like my bridge shirt on, but I don't, some of them don't know me, so I'm just like, here's
Yeah,
food,
right.
and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Mhm.
cool. What's one thing you've learned about yourself since working there?
One thing I've learned about myself. I've only been here a couple months, and so I think everything still feels really like new and like fun and things like that. I've seen some like uh just like brokenness, obviously, and like just even in myself, but in the people that we're serving and things like that. And so, but right now, while it's still fun, I'm like, it's like it's easy. I'm like,
Yeah.
like it's physical labor. It's a lot of the day is physical labor. I'm like packing up all these crates. I'm wrapping them up in plastic wrap so they won't fall over in the box truck, and then getting them all loaded. Like typically it's something around like 500 food bags ish a day, to where I'm going. And so, but it's like, oh, this is food for kids, easy. This is so easy. It's like, even though it's not like it's like labor intensive, I get a little sore, but after that I'm like, love it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's like learning about myself, but it's nice to have a job where it's just like easiest thing I get to do all day. Great. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go feed some kids, and then after that, I'm gonna come home to my gremlin son who wants to probably bite me or something. But
Who loves mom more?
who
Who
loves mom more?
loves?
Yeah, we're working on it. He likes me a little better now.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel it. I feel you. I feel you on that. Um, what's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
Um, if you don't follow me on social media, you probably would be surprised to know that I'm an axe thrower, like a professional axe thrower. So that was like a random job. That's one of those random jobs I picked up when I just like needed a job. But Sylvia and I went on a date one time. And this is when we were dating, not before we were even like engaged or married. But we went on a date axe throwing, and I was like, "What's it like to work here?" And this guy was like, "Oh, it's super easy. You want to work here?" And I was like, "Yes." And so I was like, easiest easiest job interview I ever had. I got that job with like two sentences. But yeah, I started learning some trick shots and things like that. So I throw axes like for fun now. I do at another spot up here in Nashville now, but yeah, I can do some like cool spins and flips and things like that.
So how often do you do that? Like, when do you do
Yeah.
that? In raising your kids, working this bridge ministry. Like, when do you do this?
Yes, Fridays and Saturdays I'm typically working some kind of double of whatever jobs I have. It's all piecemeal jobs, but Friday and Saturday evenings is at the axe throwing spot up here in Nashville. It's called, yeah, it's actually probably not an appropriate name to say on here, but it has an axe throwing pun in it. You can put the dots together on that. But yeah, so I'm up there Fridays and Saturdays.
That's cool. That's cool. If you could have dinner with any man from history, who would it be and why?
Okay, the obvious answer is obviously Jesus. So, but like I'm gonna
Yeah,
set the
don't do the
obvious.
obvious.
Okay,
Don't
great. I'm gonna
see.
set the
I didn't feel
obvious
like I
answer.
needed to tell you
Okay, I
that.
just wanted to make sure, so that people know that I love the Lord and everything, but there's probably some other answers I have. Let's see. So I would like Martin Luther. I would love to have dinner with him, like Martin Luther King Jr., yes, but Martin Luther, who put the 95 Theses on the wall. I'd love to be like pick his brain and be like, when did you start reading this? And you were like, something's not adding up here.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really interesting. From the Bible, I think I'd like to spend time with Gideon. I'd like to spend time with Elijah. I like reading all the stories about Elijah. Simon Peter, I relate heavily to Simon Peter. I feel like anytime he does something really stupid, I'm like, same. That's me. I understand that. Um,
You chopping off the ear?
right in front of Jesus. And Jesus was like, "What are you doing, brother? Like this, I told you about this. This was part of the plan. He's sleeping all
Like, do
night."
you think I need you to protect me? Like, what are we
Right.
doing right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Fell asleep 3 times. Obviously wasn't doing a good job. So he wanted to like, I got you, Jesus. Right in front of Jesus, chop the ear off. I heavily relate to that. Like I was like, that's me. That's me,
That's
brother.
you. That's you.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Dietrich Bonhoeffer. I really like a lot of his stuff. I'd like to learn more about him, like from him. Like modern, Ryan Tedder is the lead singer and songwriter for One Republic, which is their music has been like a heavy influence in my life. So I really would like to have dinner with him. I high fived him one time with this hand. I have not washed it since. So
Wow. You haven't
yes,
watched that ends?
nah.
Where'd you high five him at?
Yeah, this is actually kind of crazy. When I was a senior in high school, I was in the choir class. It's called Select Chorus, and our school won a competition to sing like backup for One Republic at a concert they did here in Nashville. So we were like, we submitted our name for it. People at school, I could probably tell this now. It's like 10, 11 years later. People at school were like making fake email addresses during class to go onto the website and vote for Hendersonville High School. We would spend like all of our marketing class doing that instead of learning about marketing. So, but yeah, so we won we won that competition and got to go sing backup for them, and it was awesome.
That's cool.
It was
I
very cool.
mean, that sounds like great marketing. Like create fake emails and
Yes,
revote. So
we were
yeah,
learning. That's right.
yeah, no, that's cool. Who was one man? Who was a man you looked up to growing up, and what is the biggest thing you learned from him?
Man, there's a few, and I'm like I've grown up in the church, and so I'm really grateful to have had uh, men like the one I'm going to mention, who's my dad. But I've had a lot of men who have poured into me and spoken truth over me, and that another reason like why I love youth ministry so much is because they were kind of telling me a lot of the same things that my parents were telling me, but they were not my parents, so I was like more willing to hear it. But yeah, for
Yeah,
that, from like for the answer for this, I'd say is my dad. My dad is he probably loves the Lord more than anyone that I know. He is able to like go to scripture and like lean into the like the truth of what the Holy Spirit is speaking to him really well. He loves his wife, my mom, more than any man I've seen love his wife. And sometimes that, as a kid, that might have been to our detriment. But to, as a man now, I greatly respect it. I'll put this on Do Not Disturb. I'm not sure if you heard that just now or not, but
no, you're good.
yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so anywho, yeah, man, he showed it. He loves his family well, loves his wife well, and that's like, as I'm getting older, that's like all what I'm all about. Loves the Lord, loves his wife, loves his family. That's like, if it fits in those three buckets, I'm in, you know. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, he was a great example in that for my whole life.
Oh, Timbo.
Timbo.
That's good. Oh, Timbo. That's good. Talking about Tim, so you talked about playing worship, doing
Hmm.
that. Growing up with a father who is a musician,
Yeah,
evidently it's influenced your life. How did that come about? Did he put an instrument in your hand? What did that look like? Because
you know,
that was a big. I'm assuming he influenced you in that way too.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, my dad, like if you've ever heard him play saxophone, you got to hear him play. He's incredible. Like anybody listening to this, go look up Tim Coleman. But he like he has perfect pitch. He is truly one of the best musicians I've ever heard in my life. But when I was a kid growing up, I didn't really know that. Like I wasn't super impressed by it because it was the only thing I knew. You know, so I was like, that's cool. You play the saxophone, do your thing, and I'm gonna be over here doing my thing. But I feel like if I remember the story right, when I was 5, my grandfather, it was my mom's dad, he wanted to pay for piano lessons, so I started taking piano lessons here in Nashville. And so my dad, the way that he would influence me is I was not allowed to do nothing about nothing until I practiced piano when I got home from school. And so that was another thing where I was like, as a kid, I was like, bro, I do not want to sit here and play scales for half an hour or whatever. But starting off with the piano, I actually feel like as a musician was the best because that was able to kind of inform all the other instruments that I would learn after that. It teaches you rhythm, teaches you chords, teaches you how like the flow of music and all this stuff. So yeah, I started playing piano when I was 5. I joined my youth group worship team when I was in 7th grade, and I played very like timid block chords to "You're the God of this city, you're the King of these people." I was trying to keep up. Very afraid, very scared that I was gonna mess up. I've had lots of mess ups over the years. I just learned to either hide it or accept it. But yeah, I actually started playing saxophone in band in 7th grade. So I think I'm the only one of my siblings, as far as I know, that's learned saxophone. So when he plays, I'm like, okay, I know what you did right there, you know. But yeah, just it's getting to learn all the other instruments that I've learned. I kind of learned all like the churchy instruments. So piano, guitar, bass, drums. And saxophone is kind of like the hinky one in there, and then I play or I sing sometimes if I have to. It's not great, but it'll get the job done. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So yeah, it made me practice, and he was able to like help me. Like he has perfect pitch, so he can kind of like hear something and play it off rip. I'm growing in that skill still. For me, it's definitely more of like I have to learn it. And he's worked hard to be able to do it really well, but for him, it's like innate. It's like in him.
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember. I don't know if he's ever told you the story about him. I want to say it was when he was at UCO or Tonkwall, whatever. So
Hmm.
he went to college, to a couple of different colleges. But
Yeah.
I want to say the story because I don't think it was in high school where you know, at college you have to read the music,
Yes.
and so he doesn't read music,
No.
and so he would just be playing, and they always thought he was reading the music, and I can't remember how it came about that they found out he was not reading music. They
Yeah.
didn't boot him or anything because he was so good at just being able to play off rip. But it's just amazing, like how good he is. Like he didn't
Yes.
even read music, and he was in band, college band.
I've never seen him have to fake it like that, but that makes sense. Like that makes sense that he was able to cover it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a musician by any means. I don't know how you cover up reading music versus just playing it with people.
Hmm.
Because I feel like they would call something out, and you would need to know where they're
Yeah.
at in the music, right?
As I mean, as long as they didn't like solo him out and be like, "Hey, you specifically, Tim Coleman, play this right here." Like, I think he's probably fine. But if he listened to the music, then he can play it. So as long as they
Yeah.
say, if they say start at this note, then he's good to go. Like from there, he's like, "Okay, I know where I'm at. I can follow along."
He's got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, you're right. Tim Coleman is an amazing musician, and it's cool to see you pick up. Growing up, Tim is my uncle, and so
Hmm.
growing up in the Coleman family, like most of them either could sing or play a music, instrument, or do both, or maybe play multiple. But Tim is the only one that I think fell in love with it to the degree like it became his job and
Hmm.
worked at it. But he was the one always playing this horn when nobody else was playing it, you know.
Yeah,
So
he was the one
paid off.
squeaking in the house when he wasn't very good yet, and everybody else had to
Yes.
hear that. I didn't never have to hear the
Yes.
squeaks. I only heard the genius, but
Yes. Yes.
sorry to
We
you guys.
we heard this squeak. No, it's turned out great. It's turned out great for us. What do you think men struggle with the most, but are usually afraid to talk about it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there's probably a couple of things. I think even in uh like secular spheres of influence and things like that, a lot of people have acknowledged like just men like loneliness, like not finding community and things like that. And as Christ followers, we're all about community, and so it's kind of sad that even we can really fall into that. You know, we should be like the ones that are leading the way and kind of showing people like, hey, like surround yourself with good people that like know you and love
Yeah.
you and you're growing together and things like that. But yeah, I mean, men don't like to. I don't think men necessarily like to like put themselves out there and be like let's be friends. I want to be your friend. I want to
Yeah.
grow alongside you and like learn about you and you learn about me, and we put ourselves out there. I feel like that's just too awkward, and even that people aren't really willing to like be awkward or like confront awkwardness these days, which I
Yeah.
think is a lost art form of just like sitting in like the, oh, this is tough, but we're gonna do it, you know. um
We're gonna work
and
through it.
and even that informs like not like getting healing from sin, you know, like we're not willing to be like
Mm.
vulnerable on like a friendship level, then how are we expected to be vulnerable on like a sin level? Like, you know, we get healing from the Lord and we receive his forgiveness, but healing comes from like confession and like guardrails and surrounding ourselves with people who know where our shortcomings are and our failures are, and like where we need help and where they can help us. So yeah, I think we got to get like learn to kind of lean into the awkward, kind of push past it to get to a point of like deeper community and deeper friendships with people.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's so awkward? Is it because of
Uh,
more embarrassment? Don't want somebody to know, like,
yeah,
because we
I
all
don't know.
know we're broken.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I think, I mean, there's this like, there is this proclivity for people to kind of like hide their brokenness. That's like just like sin nature. We want to hide the darker parts of ourselves. We want to hide, um, like we don't want people to know about it, and so if people don't know us well and don't learn about us well, then they won't know these things. But I also think just like some of the things that are in the world right now, like social media, that only really encourages people to put out like the best of themselves, and like it's just a highlight reel. You know, it's not like you're saying, hey, today I had a huge fight with my wife. Let me like tell you all about it. Like we're not doing that on social media. You know, it's all just like today's been great. Like love my family. You
Yeah.
know, stuff like that. But yeah, social media breeds comparison. Comparison is like a thief of not just joy, but joy and like a whole lot of things. Like our we put our value and our self-worth and things like that, like our image that we put out there. So friendship then requires you to kind of break down that image, and so does confession. Confession requires you to break down that image of like the good front that you're putting out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, both are uncomfortable and both require some effort on our parts to put ourselves out there.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Man, I was gonna say something, but yeah, true, true, true. What do you think is? What do you think? What do you think it's so? Why it's so important for a leader to actually know himself, his strengths, and his flaws? Why do
Ooh,
you think
yeah,
that's important as a leader?
that's a good question. I think it. I mean, just knowing ourselves more helps us like move through the world, like more smoothly. I guess would be like for lack of a better word. But if I know what is going to make me the most upset throughout my day, or if I know what's going to how I'm going to be when I'm exhausted, or if I know like certain attitudes or certain behaviors are going to creep up while if I'm tired or if I'm angry or things like that, then that's going to help me to like avoid that in the future or like go to help in the future, you know. So like for me, like have I have like I have like a high sense of justice, and that can be good when used for like we're confronting like evil in the world or like the shortcomings of like of this world or the like sin issues that pop up and things like that. But it can also be like a detriment if I'm always like calling people out. I'm never like trying to build a relationship with people. I'm trying to like pick fights all the time because I see something that's not right. And so there's like where's like the healthy middle of like I like the Lord has placed this like sense of justice in me. Like I want to see things right, and also I'm imperfect and I require forgiveness every day as well. You know.
When did you recognize that about yourself? Like the whole, like, did you find yourself in a pickle one time for being
Man, I
too
you know
dogmatic, or what? I don't even know how you would say that, but
yeah, just like
too
some
for
like
justice or something.
things were very like I think I used to think things were much more black and white than I think they are now. You know, I think I will approach issues with much more like nuance now, especially when you get to know people. Like if you see like if you just see this one person did something that you don't like, but you don't know any of like the context of their like life behind that or like what made them that way or things like that. So like I mean everyone around here is super into like the Enneagram. I don't know if y'all are into the Enneagram over there in Oklahoma, but it's like another personality test, you know. Some
Yeah,
people
yeah, I'm familiar with it.
yeah. So some people like they don't like what it's tied to, but if you can use it as a tool to like better know yourself and better know how you like move throughout the world, then you know I think use it to the glory of God. But yeah, for me, I'm an Enneagram 8, so that's a challenger, and so I know that in myself. Like I want to push back on things, and so and I but I also believe that without relationship, like pushback and like calling things out, not super helpful, you know. So that's true in youth ministry. That's true with like your peers. Like I have friends in my life that I've known for 15 years, and I will call them out, and they can call me out, and like it's like off rip. We'll be very honest with one another. But like if somebody who I met yesterday like called me out, I'd be like, what do you want? What who are you? Like you know, and even if they're speaking truth, like even if they're like I don't know, I sense something here. I'll be like, you sense nothing. I don't know you. You know, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
kind of yeah, that's pride too. I got to kind of watch that in myself as well. But uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Yes, that's really good to one. Just going back to knowing yourself and being able to, because sometimes we will say things like, "Well, that's just who I am." Where it's
yeah.
like, yeah, but you still have to use wisdom, and you
Hmm.
still have to be mindful of when to do X, versus just thinking that you can just go about doing it any kind of way and not have any type of wisdom on how to utilize your strengths and things of that nature. So,
Yeah, absolutely. We all have different like personalities. We all have things that come
yeah,
more naturally to us and less naturally to us. So if we're like just for the fruit of the spirit, so love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There are some of those things that I'm going to be drawn to way easier than others. So
for sure.
joy, I'm a very joyful person. Like you don't have to really like convince me to be like Camry, be more joyful. Like that's I'm
Yeah,
pretty in on that. But like self-control, I could use like a stern talking to every day on self-control, like you know. And so I know that about me. If other people know that
yeah,
about me, then they can kind of like see that and see issues in my life or things that are going on in my life, and know how to speak to it. And everybody's
yeah,
like that. So some people are going to be more drawn to like certain vices and certain virtues and than others, and that's our personalities. That's how the Lord made us and how sin nature kind of corrupts that. And so we have to know
Yeah.
what the Holy Spirit's trying to do and grow on the inside of us.
That's good. Do you think men have a challenge with balancing work lives with being present for our families? I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
think men and women both can have this challenge, but just specifically thinking about men, I think oftentimes gets highlighted more than probably women do. But
Hmm.
men, how have you seen that? Has that been something in your own life that you've had to address?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I'm super aware of this in my life, and I take precautions to not let it be a thing, and then it still becomes a thing sometimes. You know, in certain seasons where I maybe like kind of like let off the gas a little bit on my intentionality with my family. Um, but yeah, I think if you go out all day and you give people like your attention and your like empathy and compassion and which are good things to give to people, but then you like we're finite, we're human, you run out of it, you have no energy left to give empathy and compassion and attention to your family by the time you get home, then there needs to probably be like some guardrails set up, you know what I'm saying? People like it's like I feel like Gen X and millennials are more about like grind, like hustle. You got to work as hard as you can, and like it's all about the grind set and things like that. And Gen Z and Gen Alpha are kind of they're not really on that as much now. Gen Z is like just becoming like parents, and so it's not. We haven't really seen as much of them like how it's affecting them, this hustle grind set thing that everybody kind of adopted with like it's the American dream. This is what you got to do. You got to work super hard, and then you're going to get to the top of wherever you're at. And that while there's value in hard work and there's value in doing things with excellence, you also have to know that you have limitations. You are finite. You need rest, and you have people at home that are your top priority. That's who the Lord has entrusted you in covenant relationship with your wife and in being a father to your children. That's who the Lord has entrusted you with. And so if you see anything that is like constantly deterring you from that, then that probably needs to be adjusted.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. With those guardrails, just thinking about when you find yourself in that season, do you have people around you for accountability? Or is this just something you do a self check? You and your wife, do you give your wife permission to call you out on those kind of things, especially when that balance isn't there?
Yeah, I think even if I didn't give my wife permission to call me out, she'd probably still do it. But yeah, no, I think yeah, that's super important that you guys can have just like a open dialogue, like constantly come back. And I'll be honest, like my wife, she I think would want more like just like naturally she would want more like quality time together than I like would like just necessarily want. Like I'm like this was a good family time, guys, like high fives all around. And then my wife would be like, we just started, like get back here, you know what I'm saying? uh, and so like I even got to be aware of like, okay, even if I feel like I've whatever level of family time or quality time or attention that my family needs, even if I feel like I've met it, I don't know if my family feels like I've met it yet. And so, and I
Yeah.
have a three year old and a 20-month old, so they need a lot of attention right now.
Yeah.
I think if I take my ear out, I think I hear my boy crying actually. So it's just like, like so Sylvie's got it. She's taking care of him, but it's just like that's attention that he needs a lot of the time, mostly
Yeah.
from his mom, but sometimes from me. If we're tag teaming. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely like there needs to be an open dialogue. There needs to be like if you understand that you're on the same team with your wife, which sometimes the wires get crossed and it doesn't feel like you are, but you understand
Right.
like, hey, same team, we are unified. Um, One thing I've been on lately is like pursuing unity over pursuing like being right. Because even if I feel like I'm right, I will argue that point because I'm not gonna think I'm wrong and then argue that point. So if I think I'm right, I'll tell you why I think I'm right. However, rightness is not the end all be all of a conversation, especially with your spouse. Unity is the end all be all with your spouse. You are a three-strand cord with the Lord. You and your wife and Jesus. And so, whatever. This is good advice for Christians in general. Like we should be pursuing unity with everybody. But specifically with that your covenant relationship with your wife. Like that's where you need to be the most unified. And so, yeah, call us out, ladies.
Call us out. Call us out. Now, do you have guys in your life that
Yeah,
that you
absolutely.
all have those kind of conversations with? They
Yeah,
check
absolutely.
you like, hey, how's your week going? Have you been spending month, whatever? What does that look like?
Yes, yeah, I've got some good friends of mine. We go real deep, but they call me out if they see it. Now, I think even recently we had a pretty big like shift in our community last year. We stepped away from our church after like kind of like a weird and hurtful transition, and so a lot of me and my wife's community, we feel like we kind of lost that, and so I've always had some friends and people like you that I can like go to and kind of say like, hey, here's what's going on, and be praying for me and stuff like that. People around here, I've got a couple of buddies that I grew up with in high school that they'll call me out, I'll call them out, and it's like a something I heard a long time ago. It's like having like a Paul, a Barnabas, and a Timothy in your life. So it's like someone pouring into you who's like older than you, a spiritual father. Someone who that's the Paul. Then a Barnabas is like your peer, someone who you guys kind of like growing together. You're pouring into one another, and then a Timothy who's somebody younger than you who you're pouring into as you're moving forward in life. And so yeah, I think it's helpful to have those three things. I think it's good as Christ followers, and even with that like loneliness I was talking about earlier, like you have people in all spheres of influence around you that either are pouring into you or you're pouring into them.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I think it's just important to have that circle of influence in your life, and Paul, Barnabas, and Timothy. I like that. I've heard that before. I hadn't heard it in a while, but yeah, that's a good one.
That's a oldie
Uh,
but a goodie.
that's a oldie but a goodie.
Hmm.
Talking about that loneliness, let's go back because I think I work in the church. I'm a
Hmm.
pastor of church. I'm part of Men of Jesus, serving in this organization as well. It's really hard for men. Like I have a group text of about 100, probably about 100 men, and
Hmm.
every once in a while I send out a group text of scripture or whatever. So whatever. Then when I see these men, I try to engage them in conversations if I see them, and but it's just interesting when you try to connect with men. Like they truly almost just want to be alone. Like, don't bother me. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go to work, come home, sit on like, and not do any, not engage in any kind of spiritual
Right.
thing, any of that, and just on an island by themselves. And I'm just like, man, you just, it's almost like Jesus who gives the talents. Like he gives one, gives one five. What
Hmm.
it's just almost like the guys just go home and bury their talents. Like
Mm,
they don't
yeah.
use, like they go to work, make money, provide for their families, but their talents as far as building up the kingdom, engaging other people, pouring into it, is just not so.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, someone said that I've heard this like in a sermon a few times, like the greatest miracle that Jesus ever did was like having 12 friends around him at all times. Like that's their oldie but a goodie. But yeah, I
That's
mean,
good. Yeah, I hadn't
yeah,
heard that. What is it?
yeah, he shows us like he's Christ, and so it's like a little bit different. But he's showing like if we're trying to grow in our Christ likeness, we're trying to grow as a human. You can't really just grow by yourself. Like you have blind spots, even if you have the personality to like see like, oh, here's maybe where maybe I fall short. Like we don't always have the like just the grit and like self control that it just comes from our own will. Like one, it's Holy Spirit that does that in us, but two, that's community around us that sees that for us. So um yeah, it's funny you said like men feel like they need to be on an island. Like I used to be like unhealthy level, I think, of like extrovert. Like I always had to be around people. Like I was like, why am I by myself right now? This is terrible. I feel awful and I need to be with people. That was like in college. And then when the pandemic hit and I was stuck at home by myself, I had kind of had to learn to get used to it. Then after a minute I was like, wait a minute, this is glorious. Nobody is is bothering me right now, I was watching Robin Williams movies and solving puzzles until like 3 in the morning. That was a weird time, COVID, but uh, yeah. So kind of wherever the healthy middle of that is for you, and
Yeah, yeah.
it is like we're not saying like everybody has to have 12 friends and then you've like
No.
achieved friendship. No, it's like there. Some of us are gonna want to have more people that are speaking into our lives and that we can whose lives we can speak into, and some of us are going to have like less. But I think the key is like not to have like none. Like you don't want to have just like
Right.
no community. Um, a mentor of mine. His name is Sam Gilbert. He actually like performed the wedding service for me and Sylvie. He married us. But he does this camping trip every year called the Island, specifically to kind of address what you talked about, where he felt like he felt like he was the only Christ follower kind of in his circles. He was by himself on an island, and so he brings out all these high school guys and some college leaders and adult leaders to kind of come out there and show like, hey, this is like your brothers, like this is your brothers in Christ. You guys are all growing in Christ likeness, and you can do it together. So I did that as a high schooler my junior and senior year, and then I just spent my fifth year going as a leader. So it's a ton of fun, and yeah, addresses exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, you just got back, didn't you?
I just got back. Yes, so we got here. You can see my that's my paintball mark. I got shot with a bunch of paintballs. It was a
Wow.
good time. I feel like I'm like letting loose like trade secrets here, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. But that what we do is we put a bunch of guys on a boat. They wear a pillowcase over their head. There's a bunch of islands in Percy Priest Lake. Yes, this is real. A bunch of islands in Percy Priest Lake, which is the lake out here in Nashville that you can camp at for free if you can get to them. So if you have a boat, you can get out to the island. It's first come, first serve. You can go camp out there. So put the pillowcases on the guys. We take the pillowcase off, push them into the water, and say, swim to that island over there. And then once they get there, they have to put on a paintball mask, and a bunch of dudes light them up on the way as they're running to the campsite. So it's glorious.
Is this an initiation into manhood too? Is
It's
it
like yeah, it's a little bit of that. It's like confront we grow through discomfort, and we go through discomfort like together. That like bonds us, So I went as a leader. So I've done my time. I've gotten shot before as a high schooler. I got lit up, but one of the things I wanted to do is I was like, leaders, we got to run it too. Like we gotta go too when the high schoolers get to shoot us. Because that shows like buy-in, like especially
right?
as
Yeah.
we're getting later in these years. I don't know these guys as well. Like from when I was a college leader in 2016, I had just graduated. I knew all the guys that were going on, so it's kind of like I was just seeing my buddies. But now it's like I don't know these guys, and I'm writing them up with a paintball, and they don't know who I am, and
Yeah.
I'm just like some random. So I'm like, okay, now your turn. You get to light me up. So that was one of my marks. But
Wow.
I've got
Yeah,
about eight.
paintball ain't no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been paintballing once, and I was like, never again. Yeah, no.
For me,
Oh my goodness.
that's cliff jumping. So cliff jumping is a big part of the trip. I did my 2 years in high school, and I was like, I'm good. I'm good, brother. I don't need to do it no more. They do a night jump, they where you jump at like,
What?
oh yeah, it's like 2 in the morning. You have to swim up to the island, so they make you jump in the dark water, and then you got to swim up to the island. It's real creepy, and then you go up on the cliffs and you jump off the cliffs into the dark water, and no one talks or anything while it happens. So I was like, hey, I will drive the boat, and then that way I don't have to, I don't have to do it.
I don't know what it is about men why we feel like we gotta take people through these tortures. There's
Yeah.
an event called Man Night. I think it's called Man Night or something. And my friends do it every year. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, no, I'm good. They every year they try to. Hey, you come be one of the speakers? Nah, I'm all right, man. I'm gonna
But
let y'all. I'm gonna let y'all do that. I don't feel that's necessary to learn how to be a man. I just
what do they do at man night?
man, they do a lot of that same stuff, like just crazy
Yeah.
obstacles,
Hmm.
just games like that to just kind of, and you got to stay up all night. So
Ooh, that's tough.
it's almost
Yeah,
like a 24 hour kind of.
breaks you down.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, like there's something like so like heights don't bother me. Falling, I do not like falling at all. So that's why I'm out on the cliffs. But like I don't want to be tased. Like I don't. People be like, "Have you ever been tased?" I'm like, "No, brother. I don't want to. Oh, not want to do that." Paintball is like a second tops of like a quick sting. Like like ooh, but then it's done. I'm saying I don't want to get tased.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no, I don't want to get tased. Like none of that. I feel like Jesus already died for me.
and you
I
know
don't
what?
think
That's
I
right.
don't.
It's
He's
a
already
gospel
died.
issue. Yeah. It's why am I dying again for my sins when
Yeah,
yeah.
right, right.
it's it's a gospel issue.
Oh
That's funny.
man. Hey, let me see what else I got on here. Let me see what else we got. So, I put some questions based off so we do these monthly talks. And I
Hmm.
thought some of the things were said on here. So, we had a speaker, his name's Daniel Haynes. He experienced a major shift in fulfillment when he stopped asking for a title at work and started asking for a towel to serve, is the way that he said it. How does embracing the posture of a servant, washing feet instead of demanding respect, change the atmosphere of your marriage? Kind of going back to marriage, what does that look like? Thinking about serving your wife versus I'm the man, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, the Bible talks about how we're supposed to like outdo one another in love, outdo one another in honor. I think another one in there is like outdoing one another in service. If you or both are doing your best ability to like serve one another, like all that's happening is you're both getting served. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like to
yeah,
the
yeah,
best of one's ability, it's like I'm always serving and I'm always being served. Now we're gonna fall short on that. We're not always gonna get it right, but if that's like our attitude with in our marriage is like how can I serve my wife today? I'll tell you where I failed this morning. This morning I set my alarm for 5 a.m. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. because I was gonna get up early and I was gonna go downstairs and do the dishes before I left for work. All right. I woke up at 5:45
man.
a.m. and I had enough time to go take a shower before I got to work, so I did not do the dishes. All right. And that wasn't even like something my wife asked me to do. That was just like a goal I set for myself. I was like, I'm gonna wake up
Uh
early
huh.
and I'm gonna go do this. And so I failed this morning, but that's like I got tomorrow. I'm gonna try again. Mercies are new every morning, so I'm gonna receive that. But yeah, it's just be thinking intentionally about like what's even one thing you can do out of the multitude of things that your wife probably does for you and your kids throughout the day. What's like one thing that you can do that it's like you don't have to mention it, you don't have to bring it up, but it will bring your wife like peace and joy that she doesn't have to do that
Yeah,
now. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, so I don't have to do the dishes today. Great. Or I don't have to vacuum the floor today. Great. I think those are like that's like step one on like the serve your wife level of like continuing to grow in that. I'm still growing in that.
that's the entry. That's the entry.
Right. That's exactly right. But yeah, if you're both like just as you're growing in your walk with Christ, growing in your service to others, growing in your service to each other, you continue to grow in that. Like all that's going to do is benefit your marriage, and you get to be served in that.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, that's yeah. That dishes thing is a real deal. I try to get them done before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to. I now have my son do it because he loves it here with me. And I'm like,
And there you go.
hey, your job is the dishes, but make sure they're done in the morning. So when your mom comes down, she doesn't look at the kitchen and it's not done because
and
it just
and then
brings her joy not to.
put a post-it note that says "from Greg" on it somewhere
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
dishes,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that way she knows who did it.
yeah. Greg asked me to do this for you.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Give me my credit so I can.
Right.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's see if there's another family
Yeah.
one here. Um, I love this. So Rob Clay was one of our speakers, and um, he talks about. Let me say, Rob Clay notes that an intelligent husband actively studies his wife to gain intel, warning from 1 Peter 3:7 that husband's prayers will be hindered if he fails to honor her.
That's
So,
good.
what specific steps do you take to study your wife's current season so you can love her, so you can love who she is today rather than who she was yesterday?
Yeah, my wife's current season is she is in her second trimester, growing a life. So, as much as I can do to take off her plate, I try to do it. Mostly, I know that if I can get her a nap or get her food, then that's already a pretty big win. You know what I'm saying? As I when we first got married, I kind of learned that like if she's hungry, like she probably wouldn't mind me saying this, but the peace will leave real quick if she gets hungry. So I like it's like a month in, and I'm like, why are you crashing out right now? Like what did I do? I'm sorry. Like I don't know. But then I learned I was like, have you eaten yet? And she had not yet. So now, 5 years later, I'm literally on Sunday. We were driving home from church, and I said, before she was still happy, and I was like, "Nah, I feel it coming. We need to find our Raising Canes very quickly because the peace is leaving. The peace will leave." But
You can
uh,
just feel it coming. You can
yes,
just sense it.
we went to go visit our friend in the hospital, and that was during lunchtime, and so it was getting close to like probably like 12:31 ish, and I was like, "You nor the children have eaten," and I was like, "Everyone's about to crash out real soon, so we got to go find a Raising Canes." So I think
Real quick.
that's like a silly example, but like yeah, I mean, as I've learned more about Sylvie, like um, I've learned like what's a good example like The things that she has a strong sense of justice about. When we were not even dating yet, this was like our first kind of unofficial date. I didn't know it was a date, and Sylvie had already creeped on my Facebook and Instagram and knew a lot about me, so I was not sure what was up yet. But we were working at the same church. We both had like an hour to kill before our next meetings, and so she was like, "Do you want to go get coffee?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can go get coffee." I thought it was like ministry coffee or like friendship coffee. I wasn't sure what it was because coffee's kind of ambiguous. But and then we talked about ministry pretty much the whole time, and so I was like, "Okay, this is ministry coffee." But what she wanted to know was, how do I feel about like women leading in the church, you know? And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so like if I like I grew up with that. I was like I didn't really know that wasn't a thing until maybe like my later years in high school. But you know, at my church growing up, like it was kind of interchangeable, like who was going to be speaking or
Yeah,
what that was.
yeah.
So I thought that was normal. And then started going to some of my other friends' churches, and I was like, where are the women pastors? And they were like, the what? And I was like, oh, okay,
The
my bad.
women
Uh,
pastors. What?
yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
So no shade on any of your denominations if that's what you're
Yeah,
about,
right.
but that's not what I grew up with. And so she wanted to know what I was on with that, or see if I was even like worth her time, you know, because she wanted to be in ministry, and so did I. And so um, yeah, it's just like after I kind of learned that about her, I was like, oh, like she wanted to make sure that I'm not like gonna like crush her like ambition, like her
Yeah.
dreams, the things that she wants to do, you know. She I think 2 weeks after AJ was born, our daughter, like she was pretty ready to like get back to work. Like she was like sending like emails and stuff. Like she was like, oh, I don't want to just be like pinned like not by obviously not by like our child, but like she doesn't want to be like stuck. Like she wants to be doing something, you know. And babies take a lot of
Yeah.
naps when they're firstborn, so she was just kind of stuck with like this napping baby. Like, what am I gonna do now? So she's like, emails. But after Zion was born, she a few months later, she's like, I think I want to stay home with the kids. And so I was like, oh wow, cool. All right, let's make it happen. Let's see what we can do to make that work. And it was like, you know, what can I do in serving my wife to make sure that she is doing what she feels like the Lord is asking her to do, and vice versa. If
Yeah.
she's staying at home with the kids, I don't have to stay at home with the kids now. So I'm going out and working my 3 or 4 jobs I got right now that I piecemeal together in my weird schedule. But um, yeah, it's just like, yeah, how can I help her do what she feels like the Lord is asking her to do, and how can she do what I feel like the Lord is asking me to do? And you know, that's part of what's great about marriage is that we're running the same race. You know, we're it's not even like passing the baton. It's just like we're running next to each other. You know, we
Yeah.
both are we're both are doing everything that we can to like lean into the Lord and the what His Holy Spirit is leading us to do. And so, how can we help each other do that?
That's good. No, I think
Yeah.
that's really good. Let me see. Let's look at better communities. Let me see if there's a good one from this. Waylon Cubitt teaches when he came on teaches that great mentors are lenders of hope, offering their own hope to those who are currently crushed by defeat. Who have you felt lent you hope when you were at your lowest, and how are you passing that thread of hope to the next generation of young men?
Hmm.
If you've had that in your life.
Yeah. You know, I mean, like I said earlier, I've had a lot of people that have poured into me. My dad, Sam Gilbert, some guys that I know from the Cleveland, Tennessee area, Sam Kidwell and Bobby Alexandre. I've had a lot of friends in ministry who they're further along than me, and they've seen like reasons to lose hope, but they have hope in Jesus, who is our living hope. Um, and so yeah, I think like even like so probably let's see, it's 2016, so about 8 years ago, I went through kind of like my first like church shakeup, and I was like, I'm not sure what's going on. It felt very like dreary and bleak, and I was like, I don't really know how to handle this. I was doing student ministry at that church at the time, and we went through this like church split. And I was like 20 years old in student ministry, so like these kids are learning what I'm learning. Like I'm like I was in high school 2 years ago. Y'all basically with me, you know what I'm saying? So um, I was trying to figure out how to like navigate like student ministry in that space, ministry in general in that space during like a crazy church shakeup. So then we cut forward to last year. We go through another like crazy church shakeup, and it leads to where me and my wife are no longer at the church that we were attending, and really sad, really hurtful. And in that whole process, never lost hope in the big C church, like the body of believers. I never lost hope in the Lord because I've seen like like human made choices in the church that lead to sad outcomes. I've never seen the Lord fail me during that, and I've seen the people that the Lord has sent into my life like be able to uplift me during that. And so I had people that I was able to call like that day and be like, I don't know what to do with this, and they'd say, I've been through this before. I walked this road 10 years ago. I walked this road 2 years ago. Like people who had been through similar situations and church hurt, and say like, hey, here's how you honor the Lord, and here's how you pursue healing during this whole situation. And so, um, yeah, I think, and where it kind of landed on me to like encourage other people or to help other people have hope was like I went to church the next week, to another church. Me and my wife, we didn't stop going to church after we went through like a tough season. Then the very next Sunday I was at a church I'd never been to before. Some friends of mine invited me. Actually, my boss who I'm working for now, her name's Jennifer Ranson. She was one of the people who I called that the day that everything kind of went down, and I work for her now at the Bridge Ministry. But she invited me to church the very next Sunday, and so me and my wife and our kids went to a new church, and they took us out to lunch and just uplifted us. And yeah, I haven't had an opportunity necessarily to kind of like extend that same blessing
Mm.
to others
Yeah.
yet,
Yeah.
but I think as people, some people have kind of heard that story from me, and people who kind of know like all the details, they would say I think it's encouraging that you haven't like just given up on the church, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not. I've been through situations where it's like, okay, I think I'm done with church now, and it's like that's never the solution. I think that's a tactic of the enemy to make you feel like, yes, like that the church, the imperfect church is the enemy, and not, and like, that's not the truth. Like the church is imperfect, yes, it's run by imperfect people, but it's still the bride of Christ, and it's still
Yeah.
where the Lord would have us like establish His kingdom here on earth. The church is supposed to be doing that. Um, so yeah, we'll see if I ever get that opportunity. I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will in years to
Yeah.
come.
Yeah. Keep living. Keep
Yeah,
living. You'll get that opportunity. Yeah, I love that because I think about Jesus saying, "Hey, they will know us by our love for one another."
yeah,
And when we start talking about love, being patient, kind, all the things that we talked about earlier, it's like those things are there for a reason. You don't need that type of love for perfect people. If everybody's perfect, you don't need to be patient with nobody. You don't have to not worry about counting people's wrongs against one another. So um, yeah, the church is gonna. Yeah, if you're in church, the chances of somebody hurting you is highly likely.
yeah.
Because we are broken people. Yes, Jesus came and died for us, but that doesn't make us perfect in
Right.
this day, in this
Yeah.
season of life.
My pastor right now, his name is Noah Heron. He says, if you find a perfect church, don't go there because you're gonna mess it up. It's like you're not gonna find a perfect church.
No.
It's a bunch of imperfect people trying to serve the Lord. Um,
Yeah.
I got this in John 17. We've been going through John as a church, and in verse 20, this prayer, it says, I do not ask for these only, but also for those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, just as you, Father, are in me and I in you, that they may also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. So he's saying that the church is one, that the body of believers is one, and he ties that to the credibility of the gospel, like the unity of the church, the unity of its people, all the things that we may disagree on, all the things that we might spat over and like fight on, and all the denominations and how church services should go, and should we have communion once a week or once a month, like all the things that people kind of like can fight over. But our unity is tied to the believability of the gospel, to the not the believability but the credibility. Like they'll know that we are his disciples by the way that we love one another, and we'll know that his
Yeah.
gospel is true by how we are
Yeah.
unified and how we are pursuing the kingdom of God here on earth.
Yeah. Amen to that, brother. Amen. That kind of goes back to earlier. You were talking about unity. So closing on that I think is a great job. So that was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, Camry. I appreciate you sharing your heart, and This was good.
Thanks, brother. This is I've never been on a podcast before. This is the most millennial thing about me now is the millennial urge to start a podcast. I'm 1996, so I'm like right there on the cusp of I call myself a zillennial typically. So happy to get to jump on here with you, man.
Yeah, maybe at one day when you're not doing your 12 jobs,
Yeah.
you may pause and maybe do one because I think you have the ability to communicate well, the personality for it, and so
Thanks,
you're
brother. I
smart. You
appreciate
can
that.
do a lot of different things with that. So
I appreciate that. I might start. Maybe I'll start like it'll either be about the church or about the Titans, and both of them have equally frustrated me before. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see which one. And I love them. I love them both with all my heart. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see which
the
one it ends up.
church, the church are the Titans. Oh my goodness,
Yeah, tighten
yeah,
up,
yeah.
baby.
Now, did you ever live in Oklahoma?
I was born there. Technically, I lived there for 9 months, and then my parents moved out
Okay,
here
were
to
you not?
Tennessee.
Was that when it? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So
So
you
in
don't have
'90s,
any. So you're not from Oklahoma. You're from Tennessee.
and that's what I say, but technically I was born there, but I was raised here, which is actually it's pretty few and far between people who were born and raised in Tennessee and like are you when you find them like we call that person a unicorn because everybody in Tennessee is a transplant now. So many people have moved here.
Yeah.
In general, I think the general sentiment is like stop moving here. But hey, I'll welcome you if anybody wants to move to Tennessee. If anybody named Zale wants to move to Tennessee, Zale's welcome to move to
Oh no,
Tennessee. You know what
no,
I'm saying?
no,
Zale,
no,
Emma, pull up. One of these townhouses around me's got to be open.
no.
Greg, you can come too.
If anything, we're gonna get you to Oklahoma first, so we may be
Hey,
able
we'll
to.
see.
We've got to add a salary or something to it versus them
Yeah.
just moving down there with no jobs.
You you want me to move out to Oklahoma where the basketball team can't even win the conference
Oh
finals? Like,
man. Yeah, well, yeah, they couldn't pull that one off. Did they
yeah,
only win one game? No, they won two. Did they win one?
I think didn't it go to game seven? I think it went to game seven, so they won three.
Did it go seven? Oh, they won three.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a group message with all of our cousins uh and my dad. Are you in that group message with like our fantasy
No,
football group message? Okay,
no, they
well
kicked
then
me
yeah.
out. They kicked me out.
Oh, that's you got to get back
They
in.
kicked me.
This season we'll get you back in this season. But
Corey's
every
gonna
once in a
remove
while,
me as soon as you add me.
Corey.
Corey,
Hey,
Corey removed me. Soon.
if Corey lets Brian stay, he'll let you stay.
I'm gonna tell him that. I'm gonna tell him. Yeah, right. That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, they booted me. They said I wasn't any good at fantasy football. So
we'll bring you back. Well, on a trial basis.
yeah, it's all good. All good. Camry, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Love
We
you.
will do this again, and I appreciate you. Tell the family I said hello.
I will.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hitting that play button for another episode of Learning from Men. We're on a mission to learn from men so we can better serve men. Go in.